Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WrestleHorror. Greetings, viewers and listeners. Meathook, Jim here, the WrestleHorror podcast. With me, as always, my co-host, Donnie Hoover. Donnie.
Yes.
We sort of had a show last Thursday.
Yeah, a show-ish, I guess you could say.
It was a partial show.
All right. Yeah, it's definitely interesting.
This was the first of two Full Throttle Thursdays at Fortress Obetz, and things just didn't work right.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, for me, it was basically an 18-hour workday for 3 matches, pretty much. It's like, because we started at about 7:30 in the morning. We went to the training center and tore Big Dirty down, got her loaded up on our new trailer and all the stuff, we needed for the show. Got it all loaded up, and we couldn't have it there until noon. So, once we got it loaded up, I went and ran some errands. So I went and I just bought, we just got the truck, in November. I just got the trailer like a month ago. And so I had to buy a new ball hitch, a new, all the stuff to haul a trailer. So I put my hitch on, and I put the trailer in place. We loaded it up. So I unhooked. I went to Sam's Club to get some stuff for, to feed the wrestlers and to get, our people helping and everybody, all the people in the back. And then they didn't have some stuff at Sam's Club. So I ended up going to Kroger's. And then I went to Kroger's. And from there, I went back to the house to put like all the stuff in the fridge that needed to go in the fridge and all that stuff. And from the training center to Sam's Club to Kroger's to my house, somebody stole my $75 hitch ball.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was one of those four-way ones.
Yeah.
And first time I'd ever used it. First time I didn't have it on the truck, probably 3-4 hours. Somebody stole it. So it was either Sam's Club or Kroger. Somebody got me, which is my own fault.
You got to get one of those locking ones.
Yeah, I do now. So, yeah. So, I didn't notice it until I was leaving. And actually it was kind of funny because I was backing out of my driveway because I was like, all right, I got that loaded. Now I got to go get the trailer, get it over there. And, well, actually, no, I didn't leave it at the training center. I don't know why I said that. I drove it to Obetz because the gate was open. So I dropped it off at the Fortress and unhooked from there. So it was at least already down there. And then, so I was backing out my driveway and I was looking at my backup camera, just glanced at it. And I noticed my hitch wasn't there. And I was just like, what the hell? So I like stopped. I was like, did I put it in the truck? I can't remember. And, I went and I looked in the back of the truck. It wasn't there. And that's when it dawned on me, somebody got me. So I was just like, oh, it is what it is. It's my own fault. So I went to Fortress and opened up the lock room was opened up. So I started unloading what I had in my truck from the garage. So got that all in there. And then some of the wrestlers showed up and I didn't want them just sitting there and doing nothing. So I was like, jump in the truck. I got to go buy a hitch ball. It's like and an arm and everything. So we ended up, jumping in and when we went to one place, they didn't have any, or they had the ball, but they didn't have like the arm. So then we ended up going to like an Advance Auto and they had the exact same one I just had stolen. So I got that. And then I got a locking pin, with the key lock so that it wouldn't happen again. And so that was like $104 for everything, which, I didn't have budgeted into the wrestling event, of course. So that sucked.
It was that one you found at Advance Auto was the one that just got stolen from you.
Probably. Yeah, I should have checked. Like, is this the one I just had? Check for scratches and stuff. So, I mean, like I said, it was brand spanking new. It was still shiny. The black paint on the arm was still shiny. And I mean, that was the first time I'd used it. Wow. So somebody got away with one.
That's
yeah. So like I said, lesson learned. It's my own fault for not taking it off the truck, but it is what it is. So that's how the day started anyway. I mean, the load up was good. The crew we had, it's a friend of ours. They're a moving company. And So we hired him in. I was just wanting to try something. And so we just hired him in because, when you can't get a lot of help and you're doing it mostly by yourself, that's pretty taxing on you, especially when you're in for a long day. Right. So it was worth the money well spent. I mean, those guys worked their butts off, and we had Big Dirty loaded up in probably an hour, which is good, for us. So, we got the hitch, we got everything so where I could move the trailer. Got everything set up. Everything went decently smooth on the setup. Then people started showing up, and everything seemed to be good. It was warm. It was sunny. I mean, it was humid, so we were like frying. So we were drinking plenty of water, and it looked like it was going to be a fun day. It's like, so to speak.
So to speak is right. I had to work half of the day, so I obviously didn't get there until much later. But when I got up there, we found you told me where the locker room was, so we knew exactly where to go. And I got to see all the guys and meet a couple of new ones, and that's always fun when you get into the locker room. I mean,
oh yeah, for sure.
Say hello to everybody, and you introduce yourself to the new people, and
yeah, like I said, there's a couple of them showed up I'd never met and got to meet them. And we actually, it worked out for one of our former recent guests, Party Mike, worked out for him. We had a cancellation. So he got a spot on the show. And so, he said he was going to come up and just to watch from where we had done the podcast, with him. And he showed up and we had an opening. So he ended up getting a match here. So that was kind of cool. It worked out good for him.
Yeah, he was real happy with that. And it's like, well, I'm glad it worked out that way. And he's actually one of the few wrestlers that actually got to wrestle.
Yeah.
So it was just, once we got out there, we're getting everything set up and we're trying to get all the sound going properly. And then in the horizon, you can see gray to dark clouds.
Right. Yeah, and they said there was a small chance. They said there was a small chance of a quick storm. So we had a bunch of tarps and everything. So we thought we had our bases covered. And we did the first round because, the little storm that they said was coming through and that was going to be it. It did come through. And, like a bunch of us jumped into action and we got the tarps on the ring and we had to delay. So we were supposed to start at 6. And then it started sprinkling or whatever. It wasn't really a bad rain, but there was lightning in the distance. So, outdoor events, if there's lightning, you have to wait a half an hour from the last lightning strike. Mm-hmm. So it was like 6 after 6, we were just getting ready to get the show started up and they, the weather siren went off and I didn't even know what that was. I mean, I live in Obetz. I only live 4 streets over from the Fortress. And I was just like, what is that? I've never heard it before. And they're like, that's the weather alarm. I'm like, shoot, So anyway, it went off at 6:06. So the guy that runs the Fortress said that we gotta, go back in the locker room till 6:36. And then if no more lightning strikes, so we can come back out. So of course we did that. So, we got a half hour late start. So we had to run 3 hours. So it was supposed to be from 6 to 9. So, of course we stacked the card and booked the card for 9 matches to try to cover the 3 hours. So, first things first, we got a half an hour took away. So we were, now we're like, well, crap, we're going to have to shorten some of the matches, so everybody can get their match in. And so, we did that. It wasn't no big deal. And then, so we finally got to start the show and get things rolling. And it was the first match was with Party Mike and Justin Xavier.
Yep. He got an opportunity to show you a little bit of what he can do.
Mm-hmm.
We've worked with Justin Xavier before.
Yeah, and he got his first win with them now.
Yeah,
Justin finally got him a win. He's got this new move he does, and it's a funny story that with his finisher and his one move he does where he hops up on the second rope and then hops up onto the top rope and then like turns around and hits him with a missile drop kick and stuff.
Right. And
he had showed it on Facebook, what the move looked like and was asking people what he should name it. And Peachy Rodriguez, our referee, said, it reminded him of Kubert. And oh yeah, of course that name wasn't going to stick with Justin. You know, I'm pretty sure he's not going to use it. But he is a gamer, so you know he's Pac-Man, so maybe.
Right.
But you know, so you know, in our show notes and stuff, that's what we called it. You know, like you know, Justin hits his Cubert, and so the Cubert was his finisher at the show. I'm like, you know, outside of now, you can call it whatever you want, what the real name is. I was like, but then now we're calling it the Cubert, and it was like a funny thing. You know, everybody's getting a laugh out of it, and so yeah, he actually used that and pulled it off and got the win.
Yep, he sure did. So I look forward to seeing more from both of them in the future.
Mhm.
It then so we got, I think, what we got through 2 matches. No, we got through all 3 matches in between.
Yeah, yeah, in between Armageddon. So, yeah, yeah. So the next match, you know, it was, you know, stretcher James Avery.
Yep.
And you know he brought his new belt out from at the Arnold. He debuted at the Arnold, and it's a James Avery Open Challenge title, and he's never lost it. He still had it, and so you know somebody, James the Baker, you know, everybody's favorite, the Baker Hickey,
Right.
accepted the challenge and got scheduled to wrestle him. And so they went out, and you know Baker does what Baker does, and James does what James does, or Avery does what Avery's does, and it ended up being a pretty good match. You know, a couple hard hitting spots, and
It was.
yeah, and then like I said, at the end of the night, you know, the James Avery Open Challenge champion was the Baker. You know, he actually got the win, a surprise win. You know, he was probably the underdog in the match, and over the veteran, you know, and he got the win and won the title. So yeah, congratulations to Baker.
Yeah, absolutely. Baker likes to have fun. He likes to party, and now he can party with the James Avery Open Challenge title.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's already got pictures with it all over social media and everything. So, but yeah, so that was a good thing to see.
Yep.
And then, you know, your favorite, you know, the Golden Idol was, you know, part of the third match, and it was Brandon Fields and Espiritu Maya, which, you know, I really like Maya. I like Fields too. Fields is a technical genius, and Maya is a, you know, a high flyer, and you know, a luchador, and knows how to do it, and so it was a good matchup to watch these two go at it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was really, you know, I've seen Espiritu Maya a couple of times, but I never had a chance to really sit and watch him.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting there by the broadcast position, looking up at him, it's like, well, this guy can wrestle.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he's definitely good.
I mean, he's got mat skills as well as high flying technique.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's got a little bit of a bum, you know, elbow and stuff he was nursing that day too. So, you know, I'm sure that had an effect on some of the stuff he was limited in doing and willing to do. But yeah, I mean, he can go for sure.
Definitely. It was a great match between those two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then it just seems like it just keeps happening, and, you know, people ain't getting it yet, but, you know, obviously, you know, the Temple of Terror title, which has no significant, you know, meaning, was up for grabs, and Maya pulled off the win, and he did it. And, you know, actually what I thought was a great way. He went old school Eddie Guerrero on him, and did the spot where he threw the chair to Fields and then took a back bump and faked, you know, getting hit with the chair, and got Fields disqualified. And yeah, it's just something different. You don't see it, and I got a big kick out of it. I thought it was pretty comical. And then, you know, so he won the belt, and then of course, you know, Fields catches him from behind, and they take the belt back and all. But yeah, I thought that was great. You know, I haven't seen, you know, something like that in a while, and it was you know, something different and refreshing to see.
Oh yeah, I was definitely surprised when I saw that. It's like, I have not seen this in years.
Right. Yeah, he pulled it out of his bag of tricks.
I started laughing. I said, oh my gosh, this is great.
Yeah.
So then right towards the end of that match,
Mm-hmm.
here it comes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And like I said, we saw the clouds coming, but it looked like it was going to be just north of us. And you know, I even, like, the mayor of Obetz was actually at the Full Throttle Thursday. She was talking to one of the officers there, and and she like, waved and smiled, and I went over there and said hello, and she's like, I'm praying for you guys that the storms, the clouds are going to pass over us and not bother us. And I'm like, yeah, I'm hoping so. I was like, it looks like it's going to be fine. So, like I said, I've been in the heat all day, literally, since 7:30 in the morning. So I was, they had of course, an icy truck, an ice cream truck there. So me being me, I'm like, Terry was like, go get you an icy and go in the locker room and cool down. She's like, you're already sunburnt and sweating. And so I was like, yeah, I was like, all right, I'm not going to pass up a icy bowl, cause they had them in bowls instead of cups. So I go get me an icy. It was, and it was pretty good. It was a cherry flavored. And so I'm sitting in the locker room, and it's got a tin roof on it. And so, I'm sitting there eating. I get like half of it done, and all of a sudden you hear the sound of rain on the roof. And I was just like, oh no, are you kidding me? So I get up, and people were coming in. I'm like, is it raining out there? And they're like, oh yeah, it's pouring. And I get up and walk out of the locker room, and it's just coming down like in buckets out of nowhere. So I like hurry up to the ring, and I can see people scrambling, trying to get the tarps on before I even get there. And then, so then it was just a mad dash of everybody trying to cover the ring up, and the wind was blowing, and we couldn't get the tarps to stay down because the wind was blowing them up. And poor Chris was covering all the equipment up, and the tarp that she ended up using had a hole in it. So it was like a hole right where the mixer board was. So she had her hand over that, and she was like stuck, this thunder and lightning and rain. And she's just sitting there holding this tarp down over top of all the electronics, and got her other hand over the hole so the mixer don't get wet. So I had to go help her. I had to help her out. I got all the corners of the tarp tucked in, and I found a bag. It was, I don't even know what was in the bag, but it was like a satchel bag or like a little backpack. And I just found it on the ground by the ringside, and I just took it and like put it over the hole so she could move her hand. And I made, I told her, get in the locker room, get out of the rain. But by that time it didn't really matter, because we were soaked head to toe. Every stitch of clothing I was wearing was soaked. My shoes was soaked, my wallet, my money, my phone, I couldn't even use my phone because the screen was so wet. And I couldn't dry it off because everything I wiped it on was wet. so, so I couldn't even use my phone. And, but yeah, like needs to say, we finally got the ring covered up, and we had hoped it would, it was in enough time and good enough. But, unfortunately, and then I believe, as luck would have it, as soon as we get it covered up, it was like 10 minutes of trying to get this all done. And then, once we got it covered up, then the rain starts, stopping. And, so that was our luck, So
yeah, it was, and I gotta give you both credit for staying out there and getting drenched. Especially Chris. She's like, well, first of all, the mixing board's fine. I'm using it right now.
Nice.
But she was wanting to make sure that none of that equipment got damaged.
Oh yeah.
Thousands of dollars of equipment there. And she was bound and determined. Me, I feel kind of ghoulish because I was sitting dry in my Jeep.
Right. Yeah, you're like, she's got it. She's good. Yeah, kudos to her. Credit where credit's due. She stayed out there, and yeah, she was soaked, and I was soaked, and Terry was soaked, and Terry had the right attitude about it. I wasn't like mad or upset. I was just kind of like, bummed, making sure, and focused on trying to make sure that the ring got covered. But yeah, Terry was like, there's no sense in getting mad about it. I just went back to my childhood. Like I was out playing in the rain. She was like, cause I was already soaked from head to toe. There wasn't nothing I could do about it. So I might as well, have some fun with it. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good way of looking at it, I guess. So, but yeah, like I said, the moving company guys were out there with us. Some of the wrestlers were out there with us. Even a couple fans, that we knew were friendly with, came and like helped out with stuff, was handing us chairs and tables so we could sit them on the tarps so they wouldn't blow out of the ring. And it was just like, chaos for 10 minutes. It's like, in rain. And of course, thunder's hitting, and I'm just telling people, just get inside. There ain't no sense of being out here. But yeah, a lot of people stayed out there with me, and we got it covered up, but just not in enough time, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. And I know there were a lot of discussions about whether or not to continue.
Yeah, yeah, because they said that, once it cleared up and everything, they said we could go. The live band opted immediately to not continue because they said, their equipment can get wet or it can shock them, and which I understand that, so.
Right.
And so yeah, so the live band started packing it in, and I was like, well, we still got 6 matches left, and at this point, it was already like after 8, so it was like 8 o'clock, so we had to, if we could have continued, we'd have been trying to squeeze in 6 matches in an hour, which was hard to do.
Right.
So we took the tarps off, and then, like I said, unfortunately, like only 20% of the ring was dry. The other 80%, unfortunately got soaked. And when we was pulling the tarps off, just like buckets of water was, pulling off with the tarps. And then, so we got squeegees and, stuff like that. And we got in there and was trying to squeegee it out to see if it was still, good enough. We could make it work, because if it was just wet, the canvas part, it was still wouldn't have been super bad. They'd just, had to been careful and watch it. Right. But, it was like when I was in there squeegeeing, it was like a blister on your skin where it bubbles up and you can see the liquid. It was like that with the padding. Like as I was squeegeeing the canvas, the water was, going up, it was coming out off of it like it's supposed to, but it was also, you could see the water underneath it where it got down into the padding, like bubbling up like little water pockets and blister type things. So I just knew right then, I'm like, yeah, this ain't good. People can get hurt on this. So, like I said, some promotions would have said, screw it. We got to, the show must go on. We're not, like that. We want to make sure everybody's safe and stuff like that. So we basically just told everybody how it was and gave them the option. Like, I'm not saying you don't have to work. I'm not saying you do. If you don't work, I ain't holding, nothing against you. I totally get it. And I was like, I don't even know if I was still active, if I were working that ring at this point. And, like I said, a handful said they'd still, do their matches. And, the handful was like, no, I don't feel comfortable with it. We were like 100% agree. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. And so, yeah, like I said, we had a group that was going to continue. And then, the more we went out and looked at it and the more we was, squeegeeing. And then, like I said, the moving company we used, those guys were squeegeeing it out. And, every time they would swipe the same area, they were still just getting like rivers of water. And so, yeah, finally, Terry, she was just feeling uncomfortable because there was, like I said, there was people willing to do it and ready to go. And, when a ring's like that, it's almost it's not 100%, but it's like a 99.9% chance somebody's going to, jam a knee or turn an ankle or slip and fall or something's going to happen. And so, I was starting to feel less confident in people doing it. And I was starting to feel uneasy about it. And I was like, I know some of them said they want to do it, but I don't really feel comfortable with it. So finally, Terry, she was like, she's like, we're not doing that. She's like, we're going to shut it down. I don't feel comfortable with it. Somebody's going to get hurt and we can't let that happen. We need to shut it down. It's the right thing to do. And I was like, you're right. So, so we ended up, telling the people that said they would do their matches that we're canceling it, we're shutting it down because the ring's unsafe and hazardous. And then, went and found the guy that runs the Fortress, and I told him, and he was like, dude, I 100% get it. And he's like, I don't blame you at all. He said, I seen you guys squeegeeing in the water pouring off of it. So he was like, yeah, he said, if it's not safe, then I don't blame you. He's like, the band's leaving too. So, and then at this point it was like 8:30. So we'd only had like a half an hour left. And so there wasn't much time left. So, great, thankfully they were fine with us not finishing the show. We did, give them 3 matches, and I guess, everybody was there, was complimenting us, and he was getting good feedback, and he said we was definitely a crowd pleaser, and people were asking when we were coming back, even though we'd only done 3 matches. So, that was pretty awesome, I thought.
That's great.
Yeah. So, so I mean, yeah, we got 3 matches out of 9 in. So, and then, Terry goes home and changes, because we, like I said, we just live, a few streets over. And so she goes home, gets in dry clothes. She's like, you want me to bring you dry clothes? And, I knew we still had tear down and then take it back to the training center, set it back up. So I'm like, nah, sun's coming back out now. It'll heat up. I'll dry. I was like, I ain't got time, change clothes. And then, So unfortunately I didn't dry. So the shuts down at 9. We start tearing everything down, getting it all loaded up. The canvases, we had 2 canvases on the ring, both was soaked completely. Our ring padding was soaked completely. Luckily, a lot of the wood underneath the padding didn't get soaked. It was there was a little bit of water here and there, but nothing major. So we got lucky there. And, like you said, none of the equipment and electronics got soaked and were wet. So that was a plus. But, so we ended up tearing it all down, loading it up. We took it back to the training center. We got it all put back up. And only thing we had to do was like little, minor stuff like putting the chairs back in order and, cleaning, straightening up. And then I had to tighten the ropes up. And, at this point it was 1:30 in the morning, or like 1 o'clock in the morning. And, I could tell that the moving company guys were just beat, and I was beat, and I was hurting. My feet and stuff was like dishwater hand type stuff where they were all crinkled and wrinkled and wet. And like every time I'd, take a step, like sharp pain was coming in my feet.
Right.
And I was just like, I'll tighten the ropes tomorrow. I was like, I'm done. I was like, screw it. I was like, we've been here, so basically it was like 7:30 in the morning till 1:30 the next morning. It was basically an 18-hour, show day for me and, the moving company guys.
Right.
So, so I got home and I peeled all my soaking wet clothes off and took a quick shower to kind of warm up, because I was pretty cold from being wet, all that time. Even though it was hot outside, you still get cold.
Right.
And then, I took a shower and went to bed exhausted.
Man, you didn't sleep that long, did you? Or did you sleep?
Well, no, I was off the next day. I took Friday off. But I mean, I slept till, I don't know, maybe like 10 in the morning. So I got like a good 7-8 hours, which is good for me, because I'm usually good for, 3, 4, 5 hours a day. Just like, we were talking earlier last night, I went to bed at 4 and was back up at 7 this morning for our WrestleFit class. So, I went to get my ass kicked by Superman Onyx on 3 hours sleep, which wasn't fun. But, I did it to myself, but I'm not much for sleeping. It seems like I get yelled at by Terry all the time for it.
You got to sleep sometime, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I did that night. Like I said, I got a good 7-8 hours. So that was pretty good.
Good. Yeah, it was, what really bothered me the most was all these younger fans coming up, and they kept asking me, when are you guys going to start up again? When are we going to see more of the show? It's like, don't know. I'm waiting to find out what the decision is.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, it was unfortunate. And I really wanted to keep going just for the, because I knew there was a lot of kids out there and they were into it.
Right.
But, we had to put safety first. And
I agree.
Yeah. So we had to do what we had to do. And one good thing, I heard from on the internet is, we got a new fan out of it. Like I drew a quick blank. Somebody was one of the people that was there, said their family was there, their cousin was there, and their little son like loved it, like fell in love with it, and can't wait for us to come back. So they're going to be back in July. So I was like, they were like, yeah, the show was a, sort of a disaster, and because of the weather and the rain, it's like, but at least you got another fan out of the deal. And I'm like, well, that's good. I'm glad they enjoyed themselves. That's the idea.
Well, that's great.
Yeah. So we had some good stuff happen, I said the biggest downer for me was, I was eating my icy and it was like half gone, but I still had half left. So I was like, hell, it's raining. I was like, I'll lay it on the table here. I'll we'll cover the ring up and then I'll finish it. But then, like I said, everything kept blowing off. So it took 10 minutes. So when it was all said and done, I looked at my icy on the table and it was just a bowl of red water with like rainwater in it. So I was like, oh man, damn it. So I just kind of dumped it out. I was like, screw it. So I didn't get to finish my icy.
I'm sorry, but I'll bring
No, I don't need none. We went to the movies Monday, or this past Monday, and took Haley to see the Jurassic Park movie.
Oh yeah,
and,
we saw it.
Yeah, we had the ices with the free refills, and I had like 3 ices. I had 2 while I was there, and then 1 for the road. And I was like sick to my stomach. And I was like, yeah, I'm good with the ices for a while. I was like, that's too much. Because we had that. We had like 2 buckets of large popcorn. It was just me, Terry, and Hurricane, So we had, 2 large buckets of popcorn, a bag of Skittles, a bag of the Reese Bites, friggin', and I had 3 ices. Haley had, or Hurricane had 2 ices. I was like, this is way too much sugar. I was like, I never eat that bad. But yeah, so I said, I'm good on the icy. We even went to Sheets today after our workout and I didn't get an icy, and I hardly ever do that.
Did the Sheets guy ask you if you were okay?
Right. Take my temperature. Yeah.
Icy. What's up?
Right.
Like us anymore?
Yeah, I was just holding off for a while. And plus I got in trouble by Onyx. He kind of got on me about my sugar because I'm diabetic.
Right.
So he kind of scolded me and then talked to Terry and had Terry scold me. And I was just like, all right. I was like, they had a valid point.
Put you in a headlock.
Right. I mean, I couldn't argue the facts. I overdid it. So, but yeah, so that was the, like I said, it was a fun show. And, like I said, the sponsors and everything there were happy, and, we still got paid for the event because, we were there and we stayed the whole time. And I made sure that everybody got paid because I felt it was the right thing to do. So whether they wrestled or didn't wrestle or, whatever, I still paid everybody, because like I said, it was the right thing to do. So, in the end, it worked out. But, I'm sure there's a lot of disappointed people, because they were wanting to see wrestling, the fans were. And then there's a lot of wrestlers that wanted to get out there and perform for the fans because, Obetz is a pretty cool place and they have fun out there and stuff, So, yeah, it was kind of disappointing. But like I said, in the end, at the end of the day, it all worked out, I guess.
Well, that's just it. We had quite a crowd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for Thursday night, I wouldn't have thought it would have been that good, but yeah, there was quite a few people out there.
I remember somebody asked me if we were going to have chairs.
Yeah. Nope. Yeah, because I checked with the guy that runs the Fortress, and because at the Zucchini Fest, which Zucchini Fest is a lot, a way more bigger budget than Full Throttle Thursdays. Full Throttle Thursdays is just like a little mini festival type of thing, or shindig. And then so they were like, no, we're not doing tents, we're not doing chairs, because people walk through here and there's cars and motor, because they do like car shows and motorcycle, displays and and all that stuff. So there's cars and bikes like going through the parking lot where we were at. And so they basically put a barricade. They said, but if you want, we'll put a barricade up. And then I was like, well, if they're standing and there's no chairs, then yeah, we want a barricade, because I already know if we don't, then kids will end up right on the ring apron, hitting on the ring and and we'll be backing them up. And so, so we put the safety rails around the ring, and yeah, like I said, most people stood up, the ones that kind of knew what was happening brought their own chairs and stuff and were sitting. So, but yeah, like I said, all in all, though, we had a good crowd, and I didn't, hear any complaints. I mean, I'm sure there was disappointed people when we had to cancel, but as for like complaining about the show and the matches and stuff, I didn't hear really nothing.
That's great. I mean, and it was unfortunate, but Mother Nature.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't control her.
Nope, she does what she wants.
And she got sneaky on us this time because she came back.
Yeah, yeah. I thought we were in the clear after that little sprinkle the first time with the thunder. I was like, oh, that wasn't so bad. I was like, sweet. I thought we were in the clear from there. And then, I'm sitting there, and like I said, I didn't even think those clouds was going to be anywhere near us, because they looked like they were going north of us. And next thing I know, I'm eating my icy and I hear, banging on the ceiling. I was like, you're kidding me. Yeah, but yeah, it rained pretty good. Like I said, it soaked that ring in a matter of, seconds, and not even minutes, just seconds, it seemed like.
Well, the fortunate thing is that there was no reputation damage,
right,
because of nature.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we've already had people message us and And then I guess Obetz is saying, they're saying that they're getting messages about asking when we're coming back and when's the next one. And, so we're telling everybody that July 14th is, our next one, and to come see us again. And hopefully the weather, plays along with us this time so they get a full show. And and another good thing about it is the whole festival was free, so like our event was free. They didn't have to pay for it. So I mean, even though they only got 3 matches, hey, it was a free wrestling show, so you can't really complain too much. But yeah, so like I said, we're getting positive feedback, and people are asking when the next one is. And like I said, it's July 14th, so they're going to come back and check us out, so it should be a fun one.
Well, hopefully keep your fingers crossed I can be there.
Right. Yeah.
Because I don't know yet.
Yeah, that's what I say. That's the only thing about Thursday nights is people like work and all that, and family functions throughout the week and stuff that they have to do, and it makes it tough.
Well, I was a little late putting in for that Thursday off because somebody beat me to it. So I've just got to wait and find out if another coworker is going to be there. If he's going to be there, I'm in the clear and I can go.
Right.
So fingers crossed.
Oh yeah.
Because I want to be there,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I want to be there, and I'm going to be ring announcing in shorts again. Don't get me wrong. I love my tux. I worked hard to get that put together. But that's good for the big shows where it's not 96 degrees outside.
Right. Yeah, I have to say, hopefully it won't be as bad. Hopefully it'll be normal temperatures. But mid-July, it's probably going to be, hot and humid.
Yeah, so it's like, in any indoor show, yeah, I'm in tux right now. But no, I told you, I said,
Right. Yeah, I don't blame you. Like I said, I was in shorts and a polo shirt, and I was still sweating. So it doesn't matter what you wore. You could have wore a mankini and you'd probably still been hot and sweaty.
And we wouldn't have had any fans.
Right.
I get in the ring like that and they're going to run away screaming.
Right. I'd be like, well, there goes our family friendly image. Jim in the ring with a mic and a mankini on.
God, that's a frightening image. Why you pick on me like that? That's just frightening.
Right. You'll be thinking about that all day now, huh?
Oh, yeah, probably. Thanks.
Right.
Oh, that would be funny, but yeah, not exactly family friendly.
Right.
I'll come out in a fluffy bunny suit. How about that?
Hey, there you go. There you go. That'll work.
If we do any winter shows, maybe I could announce as Santa Claus or something.
All right. That'd be cool. So I'm sure it's been done, but I don't know if I've ever seen that at an indie show, like Santa Claus is the ring announcer.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm sure somewhere somebody's done it that they've had to have.
Oh, they have obviously had to have.
Yeah. That'd be kind of, neat thing if it's right around Christmas time, right around the, Christmas Day or whatever.
Right. I don't think there's a lot of shows going on right around there, though.
No, not really. Everybody's got, other stuff they're doing with their money.
Well, and family and I'm talking about the talent.
Oh, yeah. That too. Yeah.
Wow. Hopefully July will be better.
Right. Yeah. So that was our first Full Throttle Thursday. It was definitely interesting to say the least.
Hopefully I'll be able to be there.
Yeah.
If not, you're not going to have a sound system.
Right. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll get it figured out.
There should be a cable that would plug the microphone directly into the speaker. You just
yeah. Yeah, like I say, we'll figure out and get it done what we need to get done.
Well, hopefully I'll know sooner rather than later if I can go.
Right. Yep. And like I say, I may just go ahead and, since we don't have all of our equipment, together yet for the sound, and just have somebody come in and do it. That way we're for sure, whether you can make it or not. That's, one of those things we got to worry about. So yeah, we may do that. We'll have to look and see.
I'm a lot cheaper than that.
Right.
I thought you guys were going to ask Terry for the mixer board for Christmas.
Oh yeah, she did. Yeah, we just got to wait and see if he gets it for us. Like I say, he didn't get it for us last year, so. But yeah, it's still on my Amazon wish list.
Yeah, what's her name's husband that was set up there with John and Matt? Lady Payne's husband, boyfriend.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize her at first. I felt so bad.
Yeah.
She come walking up next to me. She goes, "You don't recognize me, do you?" So I was on your show. In my brain, I said, "No, it's not the director." And I said, I'm terribly sorry. I don't remember."
Yeah. He's done a lot of shows.
That's what she said. And it was Lady Payne. I said, oh, I am so sorry.
Yeah.
But he's got a road. He's got the one I really wanted, which is a, what's the name of it? Why am I talking about this?
Because it was a talk where it developed from our sound system on the wrestling show.
Okay, so apparently we're just doing filler again.
We just get sidetracked, we go off on a little sidetrack tangents here and there.
It's called a Roadcaster. And it is a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
It is. It's a lot simpler than my Live 8. And it's pretty because of the buttons.
Right. The price tag's probably pretty too.
Yeah, they started about $600-700.
They're probably worth it though, I'm sure.
Oh, they are, and I gave Chris some crap about it because she went off and ordered this one because it was cheaper. But I told her I wanted the Roadcaster.
All right.
And since he had that at the show, I said, "See, that's what I wanted."
Right.
I'm sorry, I was just trying to save us money.
Yeah, A for effort.
It's like, I mean, and now I'm used to this one. I mean, I know how to control the hell out of it.
Right. Yeah, you got it mastered now.
Yeah. No, there's still stuff on here I don't know how to use yet.
Right.
But I know the basics and I can mix a show.
There you go. It's all matters.
All right. I'm done talking. I'm going to shut up so that people can go do something else.
All right. So yeah, we pretty much covered it. Not much more to say about it. Like you said, it was definitely an interesting event to say the least.
It was. That is all.
Yep.
This is the WrestleHorror Podcast. I'm Meathook Jim along with Donnie Hoover. Thanks for watching and listening and putting up with my babbling yet again.
See you guys.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media outlets. Facebook.com/WrestleHorror. Instagram @WrestleHorror. Twitter @WrestleHorror. On YouTube at the WrestleHorror channel. And you can also find us on our website, www.WrestleHorror.com.